With the whole cryptocurrency boom selling out practically hardware everywhere, people are complaining that they can't build a PC. However, today I have a solution for you guys to get you through the apocalypse. Welcome back to Tech Yes City. This is your Yes Man Brian coming to you guys today with a PC that features a 4-core 1500X Ryzen CPU. Now you can currently get this for $190 US, and it also includes a Wraith Spire cooler. Really good value for money, also has 8 threads as well, and it does a really good job in multiplayer titles. At least the 4 titles that I tested here today, this CPU performed really well. It also overclocked pretty well out of the box to 3.85 GHz with the stock cooler. And also for the graphics card, we're using the GTX 1050 Ti from Galax. This is pretty aggressively overclocked out of the factory and does a really good job in titles, scoring an 8000 graphics score in 3D Mark Firestrike. Even though it is behind a GTX 1060, they're currently sold out at the moment. So the 1050 Ti is pretty much the best choice to get you guys through this current apocalypse of graphics cards selling out. Although if the 1050 Ti stocks do get low, then you can get an RX 560 as well. These two graphics cards aren't really popular for mining because they have a lot less power for mining than say a GTX 1060 or a GTX 1070, and of course the RX 570 and RX 580. Though when it came to games, the 1050 Ti performed really well. I was surprised with the figures. We're getting over 60 FPS on high settings with PUBG. That's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Really popular title at the moment. And then we had Overwatch. This thing was scoring over 100 FPS on high settings at pretty much all times. The performance was really smooth, nothing bad to report here. And also for CSGO, we were getting over 200 FPS on a combo of high and low settings at 1080p. And then for the last title, we had Dota 2. Again, 1080p high settings. This thing was scoring over 150 frames per second a lot of the time. Really smooth experience on all 4 games. So if you're into competitive multiplayer titles, this PC here today will perform really good. Now I did tally up all the parts and it did come in at around $580 US. Though you can, if you are on a budget, swap out the CPU and motherboard for something cheaper, say a G4560 and a B250 motherboard if you are on a budget. However, on that note, going with the B350 combo, in my opinion, does give you better upgradability. You can swap that 4-core over in the future for, say, an 8-core, and then you'll have also the option to get a better cooler, and you'll have a lot more power at your disposal. Not to mention, you can upgrade the memory. And speaking of the memory, DDR4 prices do seem to have come down. I found a 4GB stick of DDR4 memory for $25 at the moment. Even though I used some G.Skill 2133 MHz memory, the crucial stuff will do absolutely fine. Get 2 sticks and then you'll have 8GB of memory, and then couple that with a budget power supply like the EVGA for $40 and you'll be rocking pretty hard. Now for the case, I did use the Bitfinex Neos. This is the white and red version. Goes for around about $50, comes included with 2 fans, and you also get the transparent side window. I was really impressed with the cosmetics, but not only that, the performance was really good too. The included 2 fans did a good job of staying quiet and also keeping the rig cool at all times. The one thing I will point out in regards to this case is that it didn't have a tough time at all cooling the gear. Since we're only using a 1050 Ti and a Ryzen 4 core, power consumption was actually really low. Even when overclocked, I was getting pretty low power draw figures that was still coming under 200 watts. So that's really good performance for something like this PC. Though the last parts in this build were the storage, I used a 1TB Seagate. These go for around 50 USD, or if you're in Australia, around about 65 Australian dollars. Really good value for money. However, if you do have a little bit of extra money, you can get the 2TB version, which is only a few dollars more and does give you double the storage. Though whether you need that as a gamer is up to you. I think 1TB is plenty enough for a lot of the titles that you'll be playing. And of course, a lot of people mentioned in my previous builds that I did not include an SSD. So today we're going with a 120GB SSD from Kingston. These will make a big difference in terms of just general usage and also your boot times for your OS. And of course, you can install the games that you play a lot. Say for instance, if you play Overwatch every day, install that on your SSD and then you'll have faster boot times on not only the game but also the maps themselves. Anyway guys, today's PC is pretty much a recommendation for those who really want to get into PC gaming and just can't see themselves spending exorbitant amounts of money for a GTX 1070, 1080 or 1080 Ti or an RX 570 or 580. Something like this will get you through at 1080p high settings with a really good and smooth experience, and it won't send you broke. And also, before I get on out of here, another great thing, or actually another two good things about today's build, was that it was extremely quick to set up. It was one of the fastest builds I've done in the history of the channel. The case was really easy to work with. And also on that note, the overclocks. If you guys aren't into overclocking, then today's build will do really well. When I overclocked, I only really managed to get an extra 5% roughly performance out of this thing. So the CPU out of the box comes clocked at 3.6 gigahertz, and I only managed to get it to 3.85 gigahertz. And then on the graphics card, that comes out at about 2 gigahertz on the cores, and I only managed to get that to 2.1 gigahertz. So effectively in gaming, I only got an extra 5% performance. So overclocking wasn't a huge deal on today's build. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed today's video, then be sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments section below what parts or PC build would you go with in this current generation of selling out graphics cards and cryptocurrency apocalypse. Love hearing your thoughts and opinions as always, and I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.